Well, the obvious question is how is Jake look after his first start in practice? Have you seen a difference in him at all?
Yeah, Jake's got a little bit of swagger. You know, you come into your first start, you throw two impressive touchdowns and relatively no mistakes. You know, it's a big deal for a kid that's still supposed to be a senior in high school. So he's got a little bit of swagger to him right now, and keep riding that hot hand.
Is it safe to say that we'll see more of the playbook this Saturday? Maybe you guys held something back last week, you think?
You know, I don't know. You know, we put in our game plan for this week, and we're going from there. I don't know if Coach Roper's going to open it up or not, but we'll see.
Mason, you guys have talked about, you know, getting a little better every week and working on the mistakes and things like that. How much does a victory kind of validate that you guys are heading in the right direction?
Well, it certainly validates our point in a public's perspective. You know, I can come in here every week and tell you guys that we're getting better, and if we're not winning, you know, you're going to find it pretty hard to believe me. But to go out there and put up 34 points, you know, that really just kind of, from a public's perspective, is like, okay, yeah, maybe they are getting better, maybe the offense is starting to click. But and that's what we're going to continue to do. You know, I'm not saying we're not comfortable by any means. We're still working, you know, just as hard, trying to improve just little bits at a time, and eventually it'll all add up.
Have things been a little more spirited the last couple of days around the team today at practice, things like that, because you did?
Right. I mean, I fully agree. I fully, you know, people say, you know, it's not all about winning. You know, it's about having fun. Well, you know, the fun's in winning. So yeah, of course, it's a little bit more spirited when you get a win, and against a pretty good UMass team. You know, people underestimate them. They're 1-6, but they were a good team.
Looking ahead to this week against Tennessee, the difference in competition for Jake. Obviously, he's going to see some things Saturday that he didn't see. How do you think mentally he'll be able to grasp that and make those adjustments?
I think Jake's an extremely bright guy. You know, he's obviously a coach's son. He understands the game of football a lot better than most guys his age. So I think Jake's just going to take it by ear, and he's going to get the game plan, and we're going to go with it.
What have you seen from Tennessee's defense? What have you seen from them on paper?
They're a pretty good squad. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, they're really talented up front. You know, their front seven is a pretty good group.
Have you seen a team that's more Jekyll and Hyde, because they've had some slow starts and all of a sudden they kind of get it going in the second half in the games even they've won or even games they've lost? I guess how important is it for you guys to get off to a quick start and hopefully, you know, get some confidence going?
Oh, it's extremely important. You know, it's always important to start fast, regardless of who your opponent is. You know, it gives the team momentum. The defense feeds off that. The crowd feeds off that, and it's just a chain reaction. So starting fast, but finishing fast is a big emphasis for us this week.
So what went right in the run game last weekend for you guys?
You know, UMass did a lot of twisting and stunting, and we game planned for it. You know, we broke it down, made it simple, and you know, used the talent that we have up front and the talent that we have as backs, and we ran.
Did you guys need to see that kind of effort?
I think every team you're going to play is going to show good effort.
And just in terms of the production you got running the ball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. It feels great. We run over 200 yards, 200, what was it?
Yeah.
Someone 200 yards. I mean, you rush for 200 yards against anybody, that's going to make you feel good as an offensive lineman and as a running back. You know, I know Rico and Dave had real good games.
Are there things you did that you can do regardless of who you're playing in terms of just things that got better technique-wise or whatever that you can take into whatever week you're playing against whoever you're playing?
Yeah, I think our ability to have our starting five start 3 games now.
Yeah.
That's huge. You know, and we always talk about cohesion up front. You know, as long me and Zach and I have great communication. Sometimes we don't even have to speak to one another. I just tap on the hip and he knows exactly what I'm talking about. That is, I mean, if you can do that, that's huge, and that's what happened on the right side with Corey and Malik now, and of course Allen's the general of it all. But I think the cohesion up front and having the set 5 has helped us the past 3 weeks.
So maybe some guys moving around and guys getting hurt, that's impacted y'all maybe perhaps than we realized from the outside.
Well, you know, every player has a different skill set. So understanding the person next to you skill set, what their tendencies are, how they take on blocks, what their technique level is, understanding that is crucial. So when you're just mixing in and putting different guys and injuries happen, you know, and it's easy to say, you know, just plug a guy in and go. you got to build camaraderie. You have to build that relationship, and that's helped us the past 3 weeks. We've built that.
How does Donnell coming back play into all that?
Donnell coming back plays into I'm not the coach on that, so I don't really get to pick and choose where anybody goes. But Donnell's obviously started game 1, was hurt, is back now. Knock some rust off. I don't know what'll happen. He's extremely talented guy, big, strong, long-armed. So if Coach Elliott's kind of mentioned the fact if whoever's playing at the championship level, whoever's playing at a high level, is who's going to play. So it's still, regardless, I still throw pressure. I'm not comfortable at my spot. I strive every day to keep my job.
Do you guys feel like there will be some opportunities on Saturday to get some more production in the run game?
I think we're with what Coach Roper and Coach Elliott, the offensive staff is dialing up. It comes down to us going out there and execute. I think we're talented enough in the box and on the line to be productive. So it's just going to come down to executing on game day.
And with Rico's emergence and David seemingly playing like he's playing his best ball, how much does it help when
if
you
you
have
got
multiple guys?
if you got 2 backs that are playing well, most teams really focus on having 1 back playing well. But if you got 2 backs playing well and hitting their strides, and Dave I think had 2 touchdowns Saturday, that's huge for him. That's huge. With those 2 playing well, I think it's a high probability that we'll be productive up front.
How much have these Tennessee games the last couple of years eaten at you guys?
Yeah. Woo! A whole lot, actually, because of the last 4 years, we've lost by a combined total of 11 points. Mm-hmm. I can take it back to my redshirt freshman year when I was playing tight end. Mm-hmm. We ran kind of like a tackle over, and I moved in at the tackle spot, but I was eligible. Popped it right over the top. It was going to be a touchdown. We would have gone up, and we would have won that game. The next week, we would have gone on and beat Missouri in double overtime and won the East. Yeah. So to me, what I'm going to emphasize in my preparation and the preparation of the guys is that every play is important. Because if you lose 4 years in a row, or 4 years total, by 11 points, that's like 3 or 4 plays every game. Mm-hmm. And it comes down to the nitty gritty.
Didn't they call timeout on that play?
They did call timeout.
How frustrating was that? You guys sort of
Oh, no problem.
had set that play up. And I remember you kind of slamming the ball in your hands, kind of.
Yeah, I'm an offensive lineman, so getting an opportunity to score a touchdown, I could have never imagined. I almost had chances last week now. They reached the ball, Rico reached the ball out, and it came out. He was down. I recovered it in the end zone, but that would have been cool. But, yeah, it eats at me a little bit.
All the songs that you guys hear from opposing teams, where does Rocky Top rank?
Rocky Top is a catchy song. I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't enjoy listening to that song at all. I think I hate it, but it's catchy though. It's a cool. If you take yourself out of who you pull for or who you play for and going to Neyland Stadium and a packed house, it's a pretty cool environment. Just to see that, it's one of those things you got to do if you're a college football fan.
What does Donnell Stanley bring when he comes back?
Donnell, like I said earlier, he's a long-armed, strong, mobile guy. He's big, and he's a massive human. So he brings a lot of versatility and depth.
We hear about rust with skill position guys, but is there some sort of, when you miss a long period of time on the offensive line, is there any rust involved in coming back? Do you kind of have to knock the cobwebs out?
Certainly. You got to no one ever just gets used to hitting other 300-pound men, and you don't get used to that. So, there's going to be a little bit of rust he's got to knock off.
You got to condition yourself a little bit back into that mindset.
And taking the right steps and then getting the flow of the game back. It takes you a little bit, not too long.
Thank you, Mason.
What do you guys need to do as an offense to sustain drives better than you have?
We got to keep doing what we're doing. It's a fortunate thing as we played really well last week on offense, and being able to keep doing what we're doing and just perfecting our craft at an individual level. Coach always talks about you win plays win series, and series win games, and that's what we have to focus on, is winning downs.
Have the struggles on downs been more first, second, or third downs, do you think?
I think it's a collective. I wouldn't say that we're having a ton of issues. You know, you're kind of making it sound like we're just not
third down
moving.
percentage.
You know, we're not. Yeah, it is low. It is. Don't get me wrong, but you know, we're going to continue to work on what we do. You know, you don't just, you know, mid-season say, oh, we're not converting as much on third down as we'd like, scrap the whole playbook. You know, you don't do that. So you come into work every day and you get better at what you do and you do your job.